everyone, and welcome to the Weekly Stitch. I'm Nicole, and I'm coming to you from hot and shady South Texas. Lots of exciting things going on in the studio this week. Most namely, the first thing I want to talk to you about, in case you missed it, is my blog post on my favorite sustainable fabric resources. Now, as you all know, during the year of slow sewing, for me, I am not purchasing any fabric this year. I am sewing exclusively from my stash. There, of course, are a couple exceptions to that. One is that I was allowed to buy myself some new swimsuit fabric because I knew I wanted to make a swimsuit this year, and I did not have any of that in my stash. And two, I was allowed to purchase fabric for samples for Amy Nicole Studio because I didn't want to limit myself in having the perfect fabric to make my pattern samples for new pattern releases. So those are my two exceptions. But I'm, as far as personal sewing goes, sewing exclusively from my stash this year. And I'm about halfway through, so I was doing a lot of thinking about how the project's been going, how I want to move forward with it, what I want to do with it once the year is up. And I've mostly been thinking about the way I purchase my fabric. Now, I am already a huge fan of secondhand fabric. A lot of the fabric in my stash is either vintage or secondhand or dead stock. A lot of it was gifted to me by previous employers, etc. So that is already something that I am highly aware of when I'm purchasing fabric. That being said, sometimes I just get it in my head that I want to make something out of this specific color or this specific print, and I don't have that, and I just go buy it. Not during the year of slow sewing, obviously, but previous years. So I think moving forward, I am going to obviously try to keep taking advantage of the big stash that I have and sewing from my stash. But other than that, I think I'm going to exclusively buy fabric from a sustainable resource, whether that is secondhand, dead stock, whether the fibers are sustainable or it is sustainably or ethically produced. It needs to tick one of those boxes. A, for me to purchase it, and B, for me to do a sponsorship with it as well. I really want to continue these values into my everyday sewing practice and not have it just be a year thing, like, oh, that was fun. I really want to take what I'm learning and how I've been changing my sewing practice into my future years of sewing. So with that being said, I thought it would be fun to compile a list of what I know of as my personal favorite sustainable fabric resources. And that post is now live on my blog. I've gotten a lot of great feedback from it, and I'm hoping that it becomes a tool that people can go back to and reference whenever they want to purchase fabric, but they don't want to just purchase fabric off the big box shelf. So I will link that. I don't know if I can link those kind of links in the video, but it's definitely going to be linked below. And one of the awesome things that has come from this post so far is other shops that sell sustainable fabrics coming out of the woodwork and saying, hey, we do this, hey, we do this, that I didn't even know about before. Saying, hey, will you add me to this list? So I'm discovering all these new great sustainable fabric resources that I didn't even know of before personally. So now I'm feeling extra ready to tackle this new criteria in my fabric buying whenever it does come time to purchase fabric. So I do want to say I have been adding these new shops as they have reached out to me. I am vetting them, so I'm not just gonna add any fabric shop that happens to sell natural fibers or happens to sell organic fabrics. It really for me, for them to go on the list, they need to be mindful about it. It needs to be in its own dedicated section, so you don't have to like weed through it. They maybe say something about it in their about page or something like that. So I don't want this list to become like out of control, willy-nilly, because every fabric shop sells natural fibers. Many fabric shops sell organic, but I want it to be a very mindful and intuitive list, especially for you guys, because the point of this list is to take the guesswork out of shopping for sustainable fabrics. So if I'm adding a shop to the list that you have to go and weed through and figure out where the sustainable fabrics are, then that is not really efficient for me, and that's not why I made this list. I do love that the list is growing and that I'm finding more people to add, but I am going to be sure, I'm not just going to add everybody that reaches out to me. I am going to be sure to look through their site and make sure that it falls under this sort of umbrella. So be sure to check out that list. Any shops that I added prior to my first initial, like these are the faves, these are the ones I know about, have a little star next to their name, so you know that those are ones that I personally did not know of before writing the post, but I did find them and found that they are suitable to be a part of the list. So I would love to know what you know about, what you think about that post. Let me know in the comments below. It's my hope with this post that it will make shopping for sustainable fabric for you a little less daunting, a little less intimidating. I also tried to include a lot of information about the differences of categories that fall under the sustainable fabric umbrella, so that you really can have a more informed decision whenever you are purchasing fabric sustainable. And so you can think about it a little more next time you're fabric shopping, where maybe instead of just buying going to the first like fabrics.com or whatever and buying the first polka dot that you see, doing a little digging and see if you can find something that falls under the sustainability category that you can contribute to the sustainable and slow sewing movement. Every little contribution makes a difference. So you're not going to be able to find a fabric that ticks every single box that's secondhand and organic and Ecotex certified and ethically made under ethical conditions. It's going to be really hard to find something that ticks every single category. So I don't want you to put your pressure on yourself. I don't want this list to make you feel guilty in any way. I just want you to think about it a little bit more, and maybe next time you make a fabric purchase, if you can tick just one of those boxes, then we're all doing a little bit better for our environment and for the slow sewing movement. So thank you so much for all the great feedback on that post. If you haven't read it, I would love for you to check it out. Bookmark it. This is going to be a post that you can refer to every time you're fabric shopping, and I hope that you can discover some new fabric resources that you haven't before. I think you'll find that there are a lot of times sustainable fabric can be a little more pricey, but there are some fairly reasonable priced resources on there as well. I am personally pretty excited about one that I found that sells recycled polyester activewear fabrics, which I was having a really hard time finding sustainable activewear fabrics back when I was trying to make my yoga shorts. So I'm super excited to have found this new resource for that. So that's one of my favorites that have come out since writing the post to begin with. So again, check it out, bookmark it, let me know what you think. And let's move on to what else has been going on in the studio this week. Whoop! Very, very exciting. I have drafted my Patty Pocket skirt up to a size 32. I printed and cut the size 26, and I will be muslining this and trying it on my fit model hopefully this week. I'm definitely going to do the muslin this week. I don't know if we'll have time to do a try on this week. I hope so. I also have printed and plan on muslining my next pattern this week. So very, very excited about that. Moving forward with the new size range, making progress. Things are going really well in that arena. So I'm super, super excited. My goal is to launch the new size range of the Patty Pocket Skirt on its anniversary of being released, which I don't know what that is off the top of my head. I keep meaning to go look it up because obviously I need to know what timeline I'm looking at, but I think it was somewhere in the September arena, so be looking out for that. I will keep updating you guys, but I'm very, very excited to be trying this on, and if she lets me, I'm going to maybe do a video on my Instagram stories or something. So also this week I have a client project. I think I showed this to you guys before, but I have a client that wants this vest to be copied, and so I'm going to do a rub off of this. Again, I mentioned that I might try to video this for you guys since it's a pretty easy shape. It'll be easy to show the rub off method, or how I do the rub off method, because it's a good basic, like super basic shape to start with. So I'm going to be starting on that this week. He wants this duplicated in some lighter, more summery fabrics. Last week in my sewing group, I made a lot of progress on my Melly Low shirt, which I did not even plan to be wearing the same fabric when I was doing this video. I literally just realized that in a second. Awkward. So this will be the third garment I have in this fabric. You might remember my short Chelsea party sample was in this fabric. This dress is obviously in this fabric. This is a Victory Patterns dress. I'll be sure to link that below. And then I still have more left. I thought it would be cute as a Melly Low blouse. This will be my third Melly Low. This is a Deer and Doe pattern. I just love this basic drop-shouldered button-down style shirt. I did the short sleeve on this one, and all I need to do is do the buttons. And I did a survey on Instagram. I couldn't decide whether to do navy, basic navy, or the gold. And I think I'm just going to do the basic navy on this one and let the print sort of speak for itself. If you think that's a big mistake and I should go with the gold, let me know in the comments because I'm really still on the fence about it. So while I'm wearing both of these, something you might notice is that this new one is much more vibrant than this. So this I did pre-wash. I had a whole roll of this from a designer that I used to work for. That's why I've got like 50 garments in it. And I actually had enough to make one more, and I think I might just do an Ogden Cami. We'll see. You'll notice that this is super dingy. I think what happened is I washed this with my ginger jeans that were still bleeding a lot, and it made it really kind of, I mean, when I'm not holding the original print, it looks fine, but it really kind of muted the whole tones, especially the white is no longer white, it's like a gray. So if you have any suggestions of what I could wash this in to brighten it back up, I guess I could try some OxiClean, or if there's some kind of solution I can use that'll take it back to its original colors, let me know, because it does make me a little bit sad every time I put this on how faded it's gotten. Y'all, apparently I did not clip any of my threads on this. So excited to get this finished. Oh, I also need to put my tag on. I might try to just squeak out those buttonholes today. I'm not really supposed to be doing any fun sewing today. I'm supposed to be working today, but you know how that goes. Lastly, I cut out my Ogden Cami for the Ogden Ida swap. I did have enough of it to do this beautiful fabric. I actually had enough to cut one out for myself too. So very excited. I actually think this one is mine because I had to shorten it because it didn't have quite enough, so I just made it shorter. So I'm gonna sew those up this week. Very excited. Gonna ship that off to her so she can have it for her vacation. Look how cool this is. I think it's so like trendy. So I said that I don't wear a lot of white, so I tried to focus a lot of the flower. I mean, I couldn't really be that picky with the print because I had like no fabric to work with, but I tried to focus a bulk of the flowers in an area where any spills might happen. Does anybody else plan their sewing pattern placement around their messiness? Me? Okay, so excited to sew these up. I'm excited that I had enough to make one for myself also because, I mean, there's no such thing as too many Ogden Camis if you ask me. I don't like sewing the same pattern over and over again, but there's some patterns that you just make an exception for. Ogden Cami, Chi-Town chinos, ginger jeans, yeah. This week I'm hoping to squeeze in some time to take vlog pictures. I don't know if that's gonna happen. I have several projects piled up, and that's when I like to knock out a photo session so I can get a lot of projects in one. Also, I have some earrings that I need to photograph for my Etsy shop, so wish me luck on that. I might be able to do it on Thursday. To be determined. My weekly crush this week, I have 2 yoga channels that I would love to recommend. If you do yoga on YouTube, I'm sure you already know of these people because they're pretty popular, but I've been loving Sarah Beth Yoga and Kat Methan Yoga. I've gotten really back into yoga lately. I don't go do yoga. There's no yoga in my town, so I would have to drive like 30 minutes to do any kind of yoga anywhere, but I've actually been thinking about maybe trying to hit like one group class a week. There's actually some free yoga at the library in a town not too far from us every Thursday. I'm trying to convince my husband that we should make Thursday night like yoga and Vietnamese night because they have a really great Vietnamese restaurant out there too, so I don't know. But I have been getting back into yoga a lot, so I've been doing it almost every morning. I try to break it up with lifting weights and sometimes cardio. I hate cardio. But the 2 channels that I have been going back to the most are Kat Methan. I think she's really relatable and kind of like hippy dippy but not too hippy dippy. I really like a lot of the transitions that she does in her yoga practice. And also Sarah Beth Yoga, who I like is because she's a lot more fitness focused. Her flows move nice and quickly. I hate like slow holding flows. So if you're into yoga, check out those 2 channels. That is what I've been crushing on this week. Thank you so much for joining me for the weekly stitch. Be sure to look out for next week's video. I also have a pretty fun and exciting blog video, outfit video that I've been wanting to post forever, and I'm finally getting around to it this week, so look out for that. If you like this video, be sure to let me know in the comments below. Give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any other videos, and ring that little bell thing to get notifications every time I post something new. I hope you have a great week and happy sewing. Bye! Because hair in my face. And I thought it would be cute as a threads. Oh! My weekly crush.